Make sure we're recording. Okay, we're live. We're on. Welcome to all of you that are tuning in with me live right now. And anyone in the future that's popping into the live stream, hi. Let me know that you're here. Click replay or type it into the comments. And let me know how this all lands with you. So today, right now, I'm opening up to receive what needs to come through me as like a transmission or a channel from the quantum field through my body. And so I haven't planned today's talk at all, which is, creates some heat, some intensity, and it's one of the ways that I am in deep practice with the feminine. And, the aspect of the feminine that I see as feminine is like just this pure energy of creating, and like how creation wants to like move through my body and my emotions. The feminine parts are like the physical body, the physical me, physical density, the physical flesh. And then the other parts that are emotional or are feminine are our emotions, or our emotional abilities to sense and feel the universe, to sense and feel the codes of the universe that move through us, to sense and feel our humanity, to sense and feel and touch like what's here is all what I consider the feminine. The masculine is more like the mind and the structure, and it's like out there. And a lot of you know that one of the frequencies that I serve in this lifetime is the frequency of ravenous. And ravenous is like this pure hunger, this pure desire, this pure like I just want to have all that this life puts in front of me. I just want to have all the choices, and I want to have all the things that I desire, that are like that I came into this body for. Ravenous is like the opening the doors for the feminine to just like come all the way out, and be fully like expressed in the world. And so as I was like thinking about that just now, I was kind of thinking about like the energy of faking it. What makes us fake it? Like, what makes us pretend? Or what do we pretend? We pretend to like something when we don't like it. We pretend to want something because everyone else has it, and we've convinced ourselves that we want it too because they have it. We pretend to have an orgasm. We pretend to like be appreciative when someone gives us something that we don't want, and we're like, put on this personality of like, oh, thank you so much, I really appreciate it, oh, so sweet of you. And but really inside we're like, I don't want that thing, I don't want that, right? But we fake it. We fake niceness, we fake reception, we fake orgasm, we fake intimacy, we fake our personalities, we fake our identities. Why why do we fake it rather than offer up the real thing? And there's many, we could go many directions around this, like victim consciousness, um, the masculine, like patriarchal culturalization and socialization that we've like been programmed through. There's like so many survival, trauma in childhood that we needed to learn to please others to survive. And then we create like these shadow identities and these subconscious, like fragmented parts within ourselves, and all these patterns within ourselves that are compartmentalized. Um, there's so many roots to faking it. But the one thing that like it's all has all in common is anytime you fake it, you're actually you're abandoning the feminine, because the feminine is like truth. She doesn't like apologize for what she is. And so like to live like a ravenous life, we have to really confront the places where we've been conditioned to fake it, to pretend, to downsize, to like repel or push away our deepest desires. And I think that it kind of like messes people up a little bit, because there's like a social and cultural expectation that the feminine is like soft and beautiful and put together and holds it all together, and you know stuff like that. And but by the standards of beauty, that's totally untrue. Like her natural beauty is like the Shakti or the Kundalini of the universe. And that isn't like pretty, like for like magazine covers. And anytime that we're like trying to be pretty for the magazine cover, or pretty for like the wedding album, or pretty for the likability at the PTA meetings and all of that crap, we're abandoning like the true beauty of a ravenous woman. The ravenous woman is what's like is like the pulsing force that's underneath the facade. It's the part of every woman that can't fake it. That's like, I have developed enough knowingness of myself, separate from all of my patterns and separate from the identity that I have developed to be accepted in the world. I've like learned to like step back and be the observer of all of that rather than a participant in that. And when you step back and you become an observer of your identity and the roles and the ways that you modify and edit yourself to be accepted, you start to see that like it's a choice to play that game. It's a choice to fake it or hold the heat that it requires to be honest. And, you know, that is when the feminine can be more true to her roots. Because, like, a woman who is abandoning herself so that she doesn't upset anyone or so that she looks good, is abandoning her feminine nature. And that would be fine if the world wasn't falling apart, and that would be fine if there weren't school shootings, and that would be fine if, you know, there wasn't just like toxicity in every like political, social, economic, financial system. That would be fine if she just took it, you know, if she just kind of like took the hit. She let herself die inside to be accommodating to others, you know, to kind of be quiet, keep her mouth shut. It would be fine, right? Life would be fine. And I don't know about you, but like fine is so far below my standard. Fine is so far below what I'm here for. And as I look around at all of these ways that the feminine has like become compliant with fine, I'm seeing, you know, the next level of that, which is like being victimized by how the world is falling apart, being victimized by school shootings, and then like getting amped up for like into like social justice programs and cancel culture and all of these things that like are actually her not owning her power, but diluting her power and then parking it into another institution or system or like social justice program. I was trying to think of that word. Activism, social activism, parking the power into this other entity. Can you see that? How like if she could just hold the heat and hold the power within herself and speak the true things, like this is wildly unacceptable and this is not going to be tolerated, and speaking like this is what needs to change and will change within my own self, and within my own self as I change, the mirrors of me all around change too. And like that's kind of like the erectness that it takes to actually be a woman in her feminine at this time, making real change rather than diluted, flaccid, collapsed, dependent on other things and other systems outside of herself change. And, that's like why I spend a lot of my energy and time with the women of Ravenous, because like that is the energetic that I serve in the world. It's like the true voice, the true size of a woman, the true power being held in her body. And like, I don't know, I could just think of so many examples of women that have come in to see me over the years that, like really believe that they're stuck in a job because that's the job that makes the money that they need. And they're like stuck there because they're, afraid that if they leave that job, they're not going to have money to pay for their lives. And like, that's just one like real life situation of how a woman has bought into the scarcity of the larger system, that there's like not enough for her, so she's got to like settle and like take what she has been given, and that what she has been given is like a privilege or a gift, or she's lucky to have it. And that's just not true. That's just not true. We are creators. We're magnificent creators of our lives. But like to get to that place where you're a magnificent creator of your life, you have to be able to extract yourself from the identity that's been created for you. If you guys think that you created your identity, you're way off track. The identity that you have, that you think is yours, that you made and created, was created for you by your parents and your caregivers and the culture and the social systems that you belong to. And I'll talk more about that in the next video around like shadows and emotions. But like, we fragment ourselves as little ones for acceptance and survival, and that shapes our identity. So like, by the time you have an identity, it's not something that you created. It's something that was created for you externally, and you accepted it before you even had an opportunity to say yes or no. So, my mission, because like, you can only lead somebody through the places that you've actually like crawled through yourself, like literally on your hands and knees, and like made your way through all the way, you know? And so to me, it's like particularly meaningful that I crawled myself out of settling. I finished my master's degree in psychology plus 3,000 hours of class, or of working with people in like state hospitals and halfway houses to get my licensure, my board, to get even to get even to take the test for board licensure, right? I paid tons of money for my graduate program. I sacrificed so much of my life for that program, so many years in my 20s, and I could have been having a good time. I then, several years, 2 years, getting these 3,000 hours working in like all night long, doing all nighters and working with giving out meds, to people that maybe didn't really need meds. Maybe they just needed to like have someone to validate that they were hearing voices, and it's okay. And all of that to, I could have just been a slave to the fact that I did all of that, right? But by the time that I got my license in the mail, it was no longer true that that was my path. It just wasn't true anymore. Before that, like, I thought, that was what my life was going to be. I was going to be like a psychologist and change lives that way. And, I wanted to be like an amazing psychologist, one that like a leading psychologist that was able to change the tides of our humanity for the better. And I put in all of that time, like years and years of my young life. And but by the time I got that license, it was like, this isn't true anymore. This isn't what I want to do. And I was getting like little like breadcrumbs of that along the way. Like I remember taking some of my classes, and it was really interesting for me and one healing process. And my dad was dying during that time, and I was really kind of messed up emotionally and really messed up spiritually and physically and definitely mentally, and I didn't know who I was and what was happening at that time. I was so wounded, to be losing this man that I really wanted him to be here forever. I wanted my dad to be here forever, so I could always be with him. And that was like not happening. He was dying in front of me. And so like that psychology degree and all of that um, was something for me. But by the time it was time to practice, I was like, it isn't what I want to be doing. This isn't the work I want to be doing in the world. There's something more for me. And I'm just saying that because so many times, like a woman feels pigeonholed into this thing that she said yes to. And I want you to know that that is toxic. It is gross. It is humiliating. It is dehumanizing. You can say yes 1 minute and no the next, and it's okay. It's a masculine quality to stay the course. The feminine quality is to be like, is it still true? Is it true today? Is it still true? Is it still true? Is it still true? And to have the flexibility to be able to move on a dime with flow in the direction that is true in that moment. So I think I'm just going to leave you here with that for today around like, where do you fake it? And I think I'm going to leave you with like an exercise to sort of like really like get your journal out and just start writing out and like be really honest with yourself. Where do I fake it? And just write it all out. Write it all out. Write it all out. And divide your paper in half. And then I want you to come back to it, and I want you to write down why next to each thing. Like, what does it get me? And what does it get in the way of? So why? What does it get me? And what does it get in the way of?